Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Valkyrie, a Black Orchestra game. Valkyrie is a game published by Tabletop Tycoon, designed by one of our favorite people in the world that we finally met at Origins, Philip Dewberry. Plays 30 minutes in 1 to 4 players, I believe. Now, as I said in the opening, this is a Black Orchestra game. So if you know anything about that, Black Orchestra is a cooperative game set in World War II, where the Black Orchestra plan is a plot to kill Hitler. This is one of the other plots. There's lots of them. Also has a movie with Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise is in this game. Well, the character that he plays is in this game. And in this one, you're trying to assassinate Hitler by a bomb. It's only via bombs, okay? So you're trying to get in a location with him, trying to get certain types of items, well, explosives and detonators, and blow them up. And that's going to be done through rolling some dice and hoping for the best. If you want to see how that works, click the link in the video description, and then we'll come up to the top afterwards and see what we think about it. Alright, so here is Valkyrie, a Black Orchestra game, all set up for 2 players, which is basically a solo game. It says in a solo game you should play 2 characters, so that's what I'm doing. To set up, you're going to put the board out in the middle of the table. You're going to shuffle all of the items and put a stack of 6 on each of the spaces that have the matching back. You're going to put the proper location tiles where they go. This is the war room. It goes to Wolfschucht. I'm not good at saying that word, so I'm just going to call them what they are here. You're going to take your character. So I have Tom Cruise here. He's this guy in the movie. And then we have General Friedrich Olbricht as well that we're playing. We're going to have Goebbels or Goebbels. I don't know. I always call him Goebbels. He's going to start here. Hitler's going to start here. And Himmler's going to start here. We're going to shuffle the stack of allies and flip 4. We're going to shuffle the interrogation deck and sit it over there. And we're going to have dice and tiles off to the side, because that's how we're going to lose. All right, so the way this game works is, on your turn, we're basically going to just do this stuff here, okay? What we're trying to do is, if you've ever seen the movie Valkyrie, or you know about the Valkyrie plot, is we are trying to use explosives to kill Hitler. That's this plot. Black Orchestra was a different plot. This plot is trying to get a briefcase with some explosives into a room where Hitler is, to assassinate him. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing. The way we're going to do that is we're going to roll some dice, okay? And I'll explain, after I take my turn, I'll explain a little bit more of what's going on. So what you're going to do is you're going to resolve an interrogation if sharing a space with an enemy. The enemies are Goebbels, Himmler, and Hitler, okay? We're not in any of those spaces, so we can ignore that. Then we're going to roll 3 dice. All right, so here's our roll. We have a couple options here. Bullseyes are how you're going to recruit allies. When you roll a bullseye, you can either put it up here on the track, and when you get 3, or I'm going to start out this way, actually. So this guy's going to go first. Or 2 if you have a special character out. We don't have that character out. You can recruit an ally. They go to one of these spaces here, and they're going to be useful in either plots or to take extra actions. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. Or instead, which is what I'm going to do, you can turn it to an action, and every arrow lets you take an action. Now, actions are move a space, search an item stack, take a random item, share an item, utilize an ally, or initiate a plot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move and search through some items, okay? So from this area, all these areas are 1 space away, and they are also all 1 space away from these 3 locations as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down here to the war room. Actually, I can move over here because I can ignore people and my enemies in my location. That's my special ability. That's 1 action. I have 2 more. I'm going to look through the stack, search, and collect an item. When you look through, you can flip them all up. Everyone can see them, so we know what we're dealing with. So I'm going to do that. So this location has a detonator and explosives. We need a detonator and explosives to be able to use the explosives. Has a passport, which lets us discard an interrogation. All that'll make sense later. Has a map, but it doesn't have anything that we need to get into to do the plot. Because over here, if you look at this, we need this icon, which is like a stamp or something. We need that item before we can even try to initiate this plot. Okay, so we looked in there. That's 2 actions. I'm going to shuffle these up, and hopefully I'm going to get a detonator or some explosives. And my 3rd action, I'm going to collect an item. So after you search, you shuffle, and then you randomly take the top one. All right, so I have explosives. This adds 3 dice to my plot. All right, and that's my turn. Now, the way we win is by getting into a location, spending the item that we need to have there, rolling dice by usually spending explosives, and then rolling equal to or more than that. If we can do that, we win. We lose if we go through the interrogation deck, or I'm playing a standard game. We have 6 files filled up. We lose the game. All right. This player's turn. They get to roll 4 dice at the start of their turn. So normally you get to roll 3. Tom Cruise gets to roll 4. All right. So we have 3 reroll tokens that we can use, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take it in this. When you roll this icon, you have to take an interrogation card. And here's what they look like. So they're going to give you, this is the Gestapo questioning you, okay? So they're going to give you 3 options. They're going to give you an option A, an option B, and in order to pick option A or option B, you have to be able to do it all the way. Or you're going to get an option C, which is roll a die. Possibly nothing happens, but if you roll other things, you have to do everything else. So let's see, we can remove a venue token from the game, and you read this to yourself, but I'm playing a solo game, so it doesn't really matter. Or add a file token, then remove all bullseyes from the recruitment track and any other. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. So I'll add a file to this one. I'm not telling people what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. And then as an event, I'm going to move Hitler, Goebbels, and Himmler to Berghoff. So everybody is now at the Berghoff. Okay? So that's going to make that plot harder because when there's baddies there, they're going to roll dice to try to fight you. Okay? So we did that one. Now I'm going to assign this up here. And I have 2 actions. Okay, so this card can go away. I'm going to move down to here for 1. And I'm just going to randomly take an item. And I have an invitation. So invitation lets me work on the Berghoff. I need to have this to be able to initiate a plot in the Berghoff. So now I have that. So now I got to get some explosives so I can do the plot. All right. Now it's back to this guy, non-Tom Cruise. He gets to roll 3 dice. Oof. He's going to re-roll because that is terrible. When you re-roll, you have to re-roll all dice. There we go. That's better. He'll put 1 up there. He'll keep 2. He's going to draw 2 more. So a passport. Come on. Detonator. And a map. Okay. It's not great, but we'll make it work. All right. Back to Tom Cruise. He rolls 4 dice. I'm okay with that. We'll do another interrogation. All right. So in this interrogation, we're going to add a file, then move a conspirator to Himmler's location, which are already there, so I can't do that. Randomly remove all but 4 ally tiles from the remaining stack of allies. We don't want to do that. So we're going to roll C, and hopefully nothing crazy happens. It's a target, so we have to do both of them. That blows. All right. We do as much as we can. So add a file token, then move. We can't do any of that. Randomly remove all but 4 ally tiles from the remaining stack of ally tiles. That is terrible. All right, so we just lost this many allies. That's not going well. All right. I probably should have re-rolled. We'll put this up here. We're going to get an ally. So we're going to pick an ally. We're going to pick this one, and I'm going to put it in the Berghoff. Because this lets me re-roll 1 die during interrogations. If I get interrogated in a Berghoff. All right. 2 actions. Tom Cruise is going to take this. He's got a detonator. And he's going to take this. He's got a pistol. All right. So once he gets some explosives, he's going to try to go to the theater and blow Hitler sky high. All right. Back to Friedrich. He could ignore all these guys if they're in there with him, but they're not. He's gonna re-roll. I'm having bad luck with these interrogation cards. So there we go. All right. So we'll do one up here. This will be an action. All right. I need a detonator. So we're gonna do. Come on, detonator. Yes. All right. That's explosives. Dang it. I can take one more. We'll take one more. All right, detonator. In a 1 or 2 player game, you can have 5 items. All other player counts you can have 4. When you get a detonator, explosives go on top. This takes up 1 space. Now, I'm ready to be able to try to initiate a plot. But I'm going to make this guy hopefully do that for me. So, Tom Cruise is back up. He's going to re-roll because, yeah, I didn't have good luck. Okay, there we go. So, we'll put that up there. 3 actions. So, I'm going to move 1, 2, and I'm going to take, we're going to share for one of the actions, share an item. I'm going to take his explosives. All right. So now I did my 3 actions, but I'm 1 step closer to being able to do this thing. Hopefully, oh wait, these guys should have moved anyway. I forgot that event. Flip the venue token at Wolfshawn. So this one gets flipped. When they're flipped, they're harder. So we don't want that. All right. Back to non-Tom Cruise. Yeah. We'll re-roll. This is not going well. All right. So there's our 3rd target. We get an ally. We're going to put this here because that's good for me. That'll arrest Goebbels. That means he'll be off the board, which is great. So I have 2 actions for non-Tom Cruise. So actually, yeah, I can't do it. So he's just going to move this way. 1. And he's going to take a rando item. Clock. All right, stopwatch. Adds a die to your plot, which is pretty awesome. All right, Tom Cruise is up. All right, Tom Cruise. He's going to roll again. There we go. All right, so we'll put 1 up there. All right, so here's what we're going to do. It's going to be scary. We're going to move 1. We got to move 2, I guess. 1, 2. We're going to move 2. Then I'm going to initiate a plot. That takes an action. So we're going to do that. Arrest Goebbels before he rolls. Okay, so I'll get to that in a second. Now, I'm initiating a plot. What's going to happen here is I have to spend the entry item, which is the invitation. So I'm invited to the theater. So I spend that out of the game. Then I have to spend any items that I can to let me roll. So I'm going to spend my explosives. Let me roll 3 dice. And my pistol, which will let me roll 4 dice. Okay, so I have 4 dice that I can roll. These are out of the game. Then we're going to roll and see what happens. I need to roll 3 bullseyes when I roll. Okay, so I got 2. I'm allowed to re-roll 1. Oh, shoot, I can't re-roll 1. Dang it. So I'm going to fail. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. All right, so I can't do that. Anyway, I'm going to arrest Goebbels, so that means that Goebbels is now out of the game. But Himmler, all the bad guys that are here, except for Hitler, are going to roll a die. And if they roll anything, it goes away. So they roll a bullseye. That takes away one of my bullseyes, so technically I only rolled 1 bullseye. All right? Now, here's what happens. If you win, you kill Hitler. Okay? And you're done. If you fail, remove all allies from this location. So all these guys have been killed. It's hard for me to read. Fill current section of Gestapo investigation track and resolve an interrogation card. So now we're unable to remove any more from this section. If we were playing hard, we would lose. And now we're going to do a Gestapo card because he just keeps, getting worse. Add a file token, then move a conspirator, remove a venue token from the game, and 1 reroll token. I'll do that. I'll remove this one because it doesn't really matter because we did that. And 1 reroll token, so that's pretty bad. All right. Then flip the venue token at Wolfschacht. So this one's flipped. All right, and that's how the game's going to keep playing. We're about to die. We're going to keep playing like that until we either lose, or those cards run out, or we have assassinated Hitler. And that is the game. So that is Valkyrie. Let's go up to the top, see what we think about it. All right, so that was Valkyrie, a Black Orchestra game. So when I heard this was coming out, I was immediately interested. I love Black Orchestra. It's my favorite cooperative game, I think. Top 5, okay, just to be sure. And this one was pitched as a more streamlined, faster version, different game, but same vibe. But you can play it in less time, less rules overhead, and all that kind of thing. And that had me intrigued. So I reached out to the publisher. They sent me this one and a Black Orchestra expansion, which we'll be covering later. And I finally got to play this. Now, I played Black Orchestra a pile of times. And I've won a few. Okay, so it's not a game that I can always win, but I don't always lose. So I busted this one out, and then I see the rule book. It is this. Front and back. Front is all set up. Back is gameplay. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the game's block said 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, we're getting somewhere. Then I get out the mechanisms, or the board and all the bits. I see the cool dice with the arrows. I see the allies. I see the interrogation cards. And interrogation cards in Black Orchestra suck. Same here. I see Tom Cruise's character, Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg. I see all the item tiles. I see that, it's going to make it easier to get into these locations and try to assassinate Hitler, and I am in. And then we play. So let's talk about this. This is, if you watch the overview, this is a game where basically it's all moving around and collecting items. That's 90% of the game, is you're moving around the board and you're collecting items. Sure, you're doing that in Black Orchestra, but there's a little bit more going on. You're also running from the Gestapo. You're trying to keep your suspicion down. You can see all the items on the map, and some of the spaces on the map aren't even open, until a certain round. So you're kind of trying to make the best of what you can do. And in this one, you can go wherever you want. And there's stacks. Somebody goes and explores a stack of items, and everybody gets to see what's in there. You shuffle them, and then you just go there and try to get what you need and take some actions. So you're just trying to, honestly, if you can roll dice enough and avoid the black, the Iron Eagle or whatever they're called. I'm not sure what they're called. The Eagle side, you can pretty much get around and get set up and be ready for a plot. And probably win. That's kind of what we did. We just walked around. We got as many items as we could. We would get in the same locations we would share. One of us had when the game we won, I had 2 explosives and 2 detonators. So I was rolling 6 dice plus an ally let us roll an extra one. We were in the map room, which only needed 2 successes. So I go there. I use my die. I roll like 4 successes. Himmler's there, but it doesn't matter because the most he can take away is 1. So we still got 3 successes. Only needed 2. We win the game. The run through here was a little bit more deadly because we lost all these allies before we could even get going. But at the end of the day, I still feel like I had a chance to win. Even though there were only 3 files left, I still feel like I had a chance to win because I had, explosives, some detonators I could just pass around, roll 3 dice, get to that map room, try to get Hitler over there, do what we can. I feel like we could win. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you've never played Black Orchestra, this game's probably going to be super fun for you. And I think that's a good thing. It's an easier entry into that system. It'll feel like it'll give you some awesome dice rolling mechanisms, some push your luck a little bit with the dice, and then, exploring the map, getting the items that you need, putting together, all that kind of thing. The cooperative element. But if you play Black Orchestra a lot, you might be a little bit let down by this. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm just saying that if I had to pick one on my shelf, Black Orchestra or Valkyrie, I'm going to go to Black Orchestra every time unless I only have like 45 minutes to play a game. Then I'd probably play Valkyrie, but even then I'd probably pick something else. Because the thing that I like about this system is the theme, the fear of the Gestapo, trying not to be super suspicious, and this just takes away a lot of that. It doesn't feel very thematic. It just feels like I'm moving around and rolling some dice. And that's kind of a bummer to me because I'm a huge fan of the system, the theme, the tension of the original, and this one just doesn't kind of give me that same vibe. But again, You never played Black Orchestra? Probably going to be super fun for you. And you get a similar vibe, some similar mechanisms, trying to kill Hitler, just in a smaller package. And you may dig this. And it's got Tom Cruise character, which is pretty cool. But for me, I was a little bummed out. I wanted to like this more than I did. Not a bad game, just with my love of Black Orchestra, this one just didn't really hit the mark for me. So that is my review for Valkyrie. I can't hold this box correctly. Valkyrie, a Black Orchestra game from Tabletop Tycoon. I'm Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.